So, jetzt geht's ab, Leute. Neon Renegades. Da sind sie. Oh, Bloodmordius am Start.
It's a big day. We're very close to update 1.12, 1.12. Neon Renegades. It's going to be absolutely exciting. And another exciting thing is I've got Blood here, senior game designer of Predecessor. How's it going, Blood?
Prettle.
Thanks, Choice. Hi, everyone. Hope you're all having a fantastic week. I'm Bloodmordius, senior game designer, as Choice just mentioned, for Predecessor.
Kann das so hochschieben?
Heroes, so we're going to be talking about them a lot today, as well as some other features.
Oh yeah, we've got incredible features to go over today, including new hero kits or reworks. We've got some ranked changes that we're going to be talking about a little bit.
Geil.
Labs map update. Ooh. All right, we've got some
Schreib rein, let's go.
Stuff to go over today. I'm so excited to jump into it.
Ist lauter?
We've been kind of waiting for some of these things for a long time, so I'm ready to just jump into it. How are you feeling, Blood?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's do it. If you are following us on all of our social medias, you may have seen this trailer already, but let's reveal the next hero coming to Predecessor.
Oh, coming to Predecessor. Riddle Prattle. I own it. Digga, die hat einfach keine Facial Expressions in dem Trailer.
Welcome back. So excited to
Sieht so
play
kacke aus.
Neon coming up here soon on the 24th of February. It's going to be so freaking cool.
New
but
face
today,
skin.
I've got Bloodmordius with me to actually talk about Neon. Bloodmordius, obviously, senior game designer. So he's got a lot of hands in the working of Neon, bringing this character to life in Predecessor. So, Blood, take us through it. How? Take us through. I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm so excited.
Mostly, we started from gameplay initially, from at least my perspective, looking at holes within the roster and stuff. And with Predecessor and our characters from Paragon, one thing that we felt that we were lacking was a bit more this mid-range, high uptime mobility sort of burst mage. We've got characters that burst decently well in mid, but especially with our unique characters like we've had Renna and we've had Argus, these characters output damage over like a much longer period of time generally, and utilize
longer period of time. Argus killt dich in 2 Sekunden, Alter. What the fuck?
We wanted to go a little bit lower on the control, a little bit lower on sustain, and rely on the mobility. And then look into high burst damage in order to execute her targets. So that's where the whole basis of her came from gameplay. From that, we started like looking into all the visual theming and stuff. We really like the whole sort of like cyberpunky style theme of her, and we latched to that pretty quickly. We're all quite big cyberpunk fans, I think, especially with the Paragon relationship being more sci-fi fantasy. There's a lot of like crossover there in a sense, so it's a good opportunity.
Argus Giga crazy, ja. Time to kill einfach noch kürzer, ja. Ja, ja.
Very cool.
Sowieso immer.
We've got
weißt du doch, mit jedem Patch.
Beautiful new cyberpunk inspired hero coming. How does she play? How does Neon play in Predecessor? Where are we going to be seeing her on the map? Are you going to be seeing any funky stuff, or is she just kind of like a nice mage?
Yeah, so we're targeting mid lane with her specifically. That's what she'll be balanced around. That's her primary role. Of course, always let the players be flexible. If she finds her place in ADC or support or other roles, feel free to do so. I don't think her success will primarily come from there, though. It will mainly be mid lane. She's very well tuned around her wave clear, her ability damage requiring.
Ich sag, man kann sie nur mid lane oder off lane spielen.
As I said, she's fulfilling that sort of like bog standard niche that we're kind of missing a little bit. We don't have that more sort of generic, I just want to, jump into the middle of a fight, blow a guy up and disappear again kind of mage. That's not really as present amongst our more generic sort of like classing of characters.
Very cool. Very cool. I can't wait to get my hands on playing this mid laner. I've been enjoying mid lane a lot recently. So let's look a little bit at some of her kit. We have some B-roll to show off. While
Gut.
Blood continues to
Da ist er.
really show
Also
off
die sieht
how this
in-game
character
viel,
came
viel
about.
geiler aus
I'm
als
so excited
im
to
Trailer.
how this plays. So basically, kind of what are we really seeing, you know, on the screen here?
Yeah, so I'll be showing off her engine a little bit, but she's got an empowered ability system essentially. So it's not the passive; it's the
Die ist
easiest
ein
place to
bisschen wie
start, 'cause
Crunch
it's gonna be
einfach.
throughout her entire kit. If you're familiar with Crunch or Terror, essentially she works on a
Sucks.
system where she casts a few abilities and then her next one's empowered, so 3 ability casts, and then the 4th becomes empowered, gaining additional effects essentially, or stronger effects. This will allow her to sort of combo in unique ways. We wanted a little bit of thought process around how players with Neon would approach a fight essentially. How many stacks am I currently on? Am I on 1, 2, 3? Does that determine what ability I'm going to open with and what's relevant to the situation? So she has a little bit of control in her kit. Her secondary ability, she does this
guter
one
Damage.
ability that you'll see that detonates after a
Twinblast
short period
Jungle,
of
da
time.
ist auch
That will
wild.
slow targets, but if it's empowered, it will mesmerize
Rechtsklick, Rechtsklick,
targets.
jawohl.
This gives her the
Rechtsklick.
choice that if she's going for the empowered ability, she'll get a more reliable combo.
Probably lass sie
but then
einfach
going for
laufen.
the riskier slow might be harder to land the combo, but she might get more payoff by using other empowered abilities. Her alternate ability is Race Vector. It's a dash, very short range. Empowers her next basic attack to deal extra damage. This can open up additional build paths for her as well if she wants to go things like Oathkeeper or whatever. But yeah, she can utilize that to engage, disengage, and the empowered version allows.
Ich finde, ihr Attack-Speed ist zu langsam. Ihre Basics fühlen sich sehr langsam und weak an.
The fight, dodge more stuff, do things like that. Mainly staying into that higher ability field and the sort of like.
Irby, vielen Dank für den Raid.
We didn't want to go too vertical with her. We've done a lot of that recently, especially with mid with Rena and with Argus. We wanted a bit more horizontal mobility in the base kit. We didn't want to go too crazy there. So we've had a lot of that. And then her primary ability, Links it's called, you basically chuck out this orb, this cat head forward, that does damage to targets it passes through and on the way back. And her whole kit's usually around setting this ability up to get the return damage, as it's more significant with true damage.
Also ich meine, er erklärt ja gerade, was sie macht. Ich erkläre euch einfach, ja. Weil er erklärt es halt auf Englisch. Ihre Q ist dieser Ball, der nach vorne fliegt und der kommt wieder zurück. Der ist wie ein Bumerang, ja. Das ist das da. Der fliegt nach vorne und kommt wieder zurück. Das ist ihre Q. Ihre E ist auch so eine Katze, die wirft sie und die bleibt auf dem Boden und explodiert auf dem Boden. Ähnlich wie von Faye. Die kann ja auch so eine Pflanze werfen, ja. So ähnlich ist das Ding halt. Das fliegt auf den Boden und bleibt dann da und explodiert. Ihr Rechtsklick ist wie so ein Shimby-Dash, also du kannst dashen und deine nächste Fähigkeit ist dann stärker. Also deine nächste Basic Attack ist dann stärker. Das heißt, du dashst und du machst Basic Attack und die ist dann stärker und macht auch AOE-Damage bisschen. Und ihre Passive ist, dass wie bei Crunch hast du 3 Stacks und diese 3 Stacks bekommst du, indem du Abilities machst. Also ja, du musst quasi 3 Abilities machen, dann hast du 3 Stacks und deine nächste Ability ist dann eben verstärkt. Bei der Q, also bei dieser Bumerang-Fähigkeit, die macht dann True Damage an der Spitze, also am weitesten entfernten Punkt, macht die True Damage. Bei der E, wenn das verstärkt ist, hast du ein Mesmerize drin, das heißt, du wirfst ja so einen Lob und dann ist dann Mesmerize, das ist dann ähnlich wie von Renner, der Mesmerize, ja. Und bei dem Rechtsklick, wenn das verstärkt ist, dann kannst du das recasten in den nächsten 3 Sekunden umsonst. Also wie bei Shimby hast du dann 2 Dashes. Du kannst mit dem Rechtsklick nicht nach oben oder nach unten dashen, sondern nur geradeaus, nach hinten, nach vorne, also in die Richtung, die du halt drückst, kannst du halt dashen und eben das machen. Deine Ultimate macht, dass du mehr Movement Speed bekommst und du kannst höher springen für 8 Sekunden und dann am Ende. Also und genau, und während dieser 8 Sekunden sind all deine Fähigkeiten verstärkt, also sind dann automatisch immer verstärkt, dass du halt für 8 Sekunden quasi im Supermodus bist. Und wenn du das nochmal reaktivierst, dann kannst du so in die Luft springen und so eine fette Katze runterschmeißen, die dann auch nochmal explodiert. Ja, also sie hat eigentlich immer nur diese Katzenfähigkeiten, irgendwie 3 Stück, finde ich ein bisschen lame, weil das alles so dreimal das Gleiche ist irgendwie. Sieht halt gleich aus. Aber ja, das sind ihre Fähigkeiten. Ich sag mal pretty basic, aber macht schon Spaß zu spielen. Aber wird jetzt nicht, ich sag jetzt nicht, boah, geil, die muss jetzt irgendwie die ganze Zeit zocken. Aber jetzt hören wir weiter zu. Jetzt habt ihr es erstmal auf Deutsch gehört.
About to bring that up onto the screen here in just a moment. Might be a little bit framey here at the start. But let's see. And by a little bit framey, I mean a decent amount of frame. But it's okay.
Ja, hier sind die Fähigkeiten.
Yeah, so for those that love reading, I'll bring up the control menu for a little bit. People can have a little bit of a read of all the abilities as I just briefly go over
Post es
them.
mal bei mir in
We've gone over
Discord.
most of the kit here, just as we were watching the B-roll. The ultimate I didn't talk about yet, but this is sort of like your cherry on top. And it's a really interesting ability in terms of you're interacting with your passive directly. So you activate this thing, you get a buff, and so all of your abilities for that period of time to be overclocked. So you can access all of your empowered effects, take away a little bit of that thinking. However, there is a lot more thinking that goes behind the ult because you've got this recast mechanic where you launch this big bomb, does a ton of damage, especially to low health targets. You don't want to just send this thing off the rip and just blow it out there. A lot of players we can see when they play Neon for the first times tend to utilize their kit, get someone low and go, I should have ulted, and then they'll just ult and chuck the thing out really quickly to try and kill them, which can be too late at certain times. In those situations, you want to press your ultimate at the start, get all of your empowered abilities off, then chuck it as a finisher. So I'll be going over that here. We also have a fun little extra mechanic here where we do increase our jump height for a period of time during the ultimate. This allows you to access a little bit more verticality.
Ja, das Coole ist, wenn du halt verstärkt bist, deine Fähigkeiten verstärkt sind, dann leuchten die halt so lila. Das sieht hier ziemlich cool aus. Bei euch wahrscheinlich ultra klein, bei mir ist auch ultra klein, aber das leuchtet halt hier lila. Und wenn du deine verstärkte Fähigkeit eingesetzt hast, dann leuchtet es halt nicht mehr lila. Ja, aber deswegen kannst du es immer sehr gut erkennen, wenn deine nächste Fähigkeit eben verstärkt ist. Ich weiß auch nicht, was Joyce da macht, Alter.
I would want to make sure I move the same direction as him to make sure I'm going to hit him on the way back, because if he jukes right, I'm then going to miss, essentially.
All right, Blood, I'm so sorry. I have to stop you. The frames are looking a bit rough at the moment.
They're really rough.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go back to the B-roll, but I want to continue to hear basically about like what you were kind of going over there. So I am going to bring back up the B-roll as we get that, as we get that looked at here. But it just looks so good. Okay, so you were talking about when you're moving, the cat head comes back to you where you're at. So I do see a little bit of a sync with that right click or that alternate ability, I do believe, where if you really want to make sure you're in the right position, you could kind of use that alternate ability to get to the right spot.
Ja, genau. Das ist quasi auch so ein Ding. Du wirfst deine Katze und die kommt immer wieder zu dir zurück, egal wo du hingehst. Und du hast ja einen Dash auf dem Rechtsklick. Das heißt, du kannst ja die Katze werfen und dann dashst du hinter jemand anderen und die trifft dann jemanden. Ja, du musst dich dann halt, während die Katze wegfliegt, die ist auch relativ langsam, musst du dich halt neu positionieren. Aber ja.
Like a Gideon teleport right off to the side. You can actually double dash straight to the side and maybe catch him again. So there's like lots of potential outplay, but it's very like on the fly decision making that she has based off of her.
Ist wie der Drongo-Bumerang, nur halt länger und langsamer.
The bread and butter and everything that you're thinking about when trying to execute the combos on this character. A lot of what you'll be doing is like, I'm on 2 stacks, so I actually want to dash in so I can get my mez, so that I can then chuck my primary in.
Da, jetzt macht die Ulti. Achtung, gleich wird sie diese. Achtung, jetzt, das ist die Ulti, diese Bombe da.
Dash in and then you slow, and then you'll do the empowered primary ability for more damage. This kind of stuff and processing that really quickly is going to make a Neon player really, really good, as well as actually controlling that primary ability from it. So that's where a lot of her skill will come from. Players that mismanage the passive and enemies that are able to avoid the primary ability will avoid a lot of her damage, and she'll struggle on.
Okay. I'm loving this. I'm loving this so far. It's sounding so good. Hold on. Okay, yeah, nice. Okay, so I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. I'm hoping chat is liking it too. But let's talk a little bit. Let's kind of just we kind of skipped the lore part just a little bit. We skipped a little bit of the lore, so I don't want to give everything away. But basically,
sie ist halt ein krasser Burst Mage, ne?
Social media. What's Neon's problem with Shimby? What's going on there?
Yeah, so it kind of culminated towards that, I guess, at the end, and there's been a lot of speculation, which I've liked looking for and such. It's an interesting narrative. I won't share too much because I think speculation is fun, and I think it's good if people have their own theories and get excited about the potential between these characters and stuff. But they do have a history. They know of each other, Shimby and Neon, in the past. Neon, as friends with Shimby, had a lot of connections with her in this essentially musical industry within this world, and helped her through her path. And at some point along the way, managers decided, we don't need you anymore, Neon. Shinbi's our star kind of thing, and moved her on. And Neon has held a grudge more against Shinbi as not knowing the purpose behind this herself and building her own narrative throughout the situation. Has held that grudge against Shinbi the entire time. And that's kind of driven her to her motivations, as we've seen in the lore block, which you can check out.
Okay, also.
Yeah, so if you are excited about some of the lore coming.
Also Shinbi und Neon waren Kolleginnen im Showbusiness auf dem Axiom Prime Planeten und dann haben die Manager Neon rausgekickt und gesagt, Shinbi ist jetzt unser Star und deswegen ist sie jetzt eifersüchtig auf Shinbi. Wow.
Freaking cool. Well, I think that's a pretty decent amount of info on the upcoming hero Neon coming to Predecessor on the 24th of February, so definitely don't miss it. It's going to be very exciting. Speaking of exciting, the next thing we're going to be talking about, Blood, is hero reworks.
Hero reworks, okay.
I just want to throw it out there. Like, what's a good number? How many reworks are we talking about?
Well,
20?
I want to say all, because
15?
every hero has been touched in this patch in some capacity. There's a lot of general changes, a lot of wider sweeping
Alter,
stuff.
Muriel ist krank jetzt. Muriel, Leute, Muriel.
Like 1.4 for those
Muriel krank.
is to really enhance the identity of our current roster of heroes, push them a bit further. In this case, we really wanted to focus on.
Aber Acheron jetzt Arsch, sag ich. Aber vielleicht täusche ich mich auch.
Basically push those a little bit further.
Ich sag Acheron Arsch, Muriel krank.
For some heroes leads to the weaknesses of other heroes being more defined, right? If
Viel
you
krank.
CC to Richter, then everyone else that doesn't have CC feels worse by comparison, right? So you don't have to necessarily like nerf a lot, but there's a lot of buffing and there's a lot of bringing characters up to a power level baseline.
Shinbi krank.
Really comfortable with, considering all the community feedback we've had on like newer heroes and releases and stuff, and really enjoying like sort of these newer kits that we've been implementing into the game.
Terra
We want to
krank.
make sure the older roster, especially those Paragon characters that we redid such a long time ago, are living up to the fantasy that they're promising players essentially, and letting them sort of thrive in the way that they should. If a healer should heal a lot, if someone should shield a lot, they will feel that in the game. If a tank should tank a lot, they will tank a lot in the game. If someone's meant to kill someone really quickly, they'll kill someone really quickly. And as long as they're playing to their conditions and playing around the enemy's strengths, they should be able to achieve these power fantasies.
That's going to be really exciting. And we have a couple of heroes that we wanted to talk about. We actually have already shown some like on our social medias. So once again, if you guys haven't followed Omega Studios or Predecessor on the social medias, all of them, do it now, because we are teasing lots of fun stuff coming to 1.12. But which one did you want to talk about first?
jetzt hin?
Do you want to show them off, or are we worried about the frames again?
Gibt was Geiles zu essen.
Let's bring it back up and see if we can get that rolling. And if not,
Jetzt
no
geil
worries.
oder was? Alter, was ist ein Service hier? Geil?
Cool. Yeah, as I said, guys, like in general,
So.
a lot of these changes, when we come to sort of like define the strengths and weaknesses, we're not trying to like power creep the game too much in a lot of senses. We're just trying to amplify the areas that are important and bring down the things that aren't as important to the character. And a lot of this will be tied specifically to the success of a character. We're trying to enhance the idea that if you play well with the character, and are actually like, you know, what it's telling you on paper, what should I do, right? If you do all those things correctly, the thing that you'd expect to happen should happen, right? If I'm playing a character that is literally designed to kill you, if I do all my buttons properly, they should kill you. And that should be allowed to happen. Obviously, it's a MOBA. There's leads, there's, you know, getting behind, and sometimes situations will shift and turn a little bit. There's also just general balance where, you know, some of these things might not be quite right the first time, but that's the goal. That's where we're heading towards.
Oh yeah, I love the sound of that. It's going to be really fun learning different kits, not just different kits, but also some of the different matchups that we're going to be seeing in these lanes, especially with Neon coming to the roster. We're going to be seeing some new matchups that she's going to be really good into. So guys, make sure you're studying up, because we got some fun stuff coming in 112. All right, I see that you got your stream up, but I see that the frames aren't incredible. So what we're going to do is I'll just have you talk about some of the heroes. Which one are we talking about first?
Yeah, so the first one I was going to
Knoblauchsoße,
bringing up is,
Leute.
Grux.
Muss immer mit rein.
So good old Rhino, which some may know, his old dash back from the good old Paragon days is coming back. So we're changing up his crush ability, his secondary ability to be Stampede. Essentially, this is going to be a longer range dash, much longer cooldown, and allows him to sort of drag targets, not the full distance, but part way along his path with him and slow them. This will give Grux like stronger engage, something we want to focus on with him when we're talking about these strengths and weaknesses. He's too much of a lane bully. He shouldn't really be that with the way his kit's designed. He has this big AoE pull and stuff. He has a lot of team fighting potential. We really want to thrive on that as this Rhino warlord. You are there with your team, your troops essentially, and you are in the thick of the fight, and you are trying to beat down all of your opponents all at once, kind of thing. You're not there to duel 1v1s. You're not some honorable Rhino. You're a creature of war and trying to take out everyone. So all of the changes for him are designed to fulfill that. You're charging into the fight directly. You're pulling targets with you. You're grabbing more people towards you, and you're hitting them all. Other things to help complement this, we've changed his healing on his alternate ability, Double Pang, to essentially heal once per enemy hero hit, or large monster or anything, so that he can actually acquire more healing when he's hitting multiple targets. We have tuned the values around that, lowered it for the 1v1, decreased his dueling potential a little bit. It stops him from overwhelming the lane bully scenarios, but helps this team fighting situation. When he's facing 5 people, they'll take him out pretty quickly. He can actually get a big burst of healing and maybe survive for his team to pick up the pieces, or maybe for a big turnaround.
Erklärt gerade, was Grux jetzt macht.
So a lot of it's built into that big AoE team fight sustained fighting, and that's kind of where we want to start pushing Grux.
Yep.
Beautiful. So we're not going to be seeing the knockup anymore. We're going to be seeing that kind of longer range charge that does.
Basically, Grux hat jetzt einfach dasselbe Kit wie in Overprime. Also, er soll halt ein Group Fighter sein und kein One-on-One-Hero, zusammengefasst. Deswegen kriegt er jetzt Group Fighting Abilities und eben nicht mehr One-on-One Fighting Abilities.
But his primary ability and secondary ability were never really meant to do a lot.
Warum Grux einen Rework braucht, hat er gerade erklärt, Dero.
Is also the cooldown. We keep those really high in the earlier stages of the game, and even mid to late game relative to most characters. The whole big thing with Grux is that if you are not able to get the engage off, you should struggle. So if you're not able to get onto your target initially, he has a lot of potential to get onto them and then stick to them and be really strong. But if the enemy target is able to like cancel out your dash or your grab, you become a bit more of a sitting duck, and that's meant to be his weakness. He's meant to be a bit more reliant on those longer cooldowns and needs to use them very carefully and decide his window of opportunity more precisely.
You hear that, Grux mains? You can't just run in there and press buttons now. Now you gotta. You got to be a little bit smarter in those team fights. Definitely.
A little bit of thinking.
Yeah, just a little bit of thinking, even though Grux is the ultimate I swing. Me swing, me hit, me Grux. Okay? So, I think we
Sie haben ihn abgeändert und jetzt wieder zurückgeändert.
But if you actually don't mind jumping into that call really quick, and then I think we'll screen share from there.
Sure, let's try it.
Yeah, I think we're going to get a lot more frames, and so the next one that we're going to be talking about, we'll be able to see. I'm very excited. By the way, which is the next one that we're going to be talking about?
Kira, it will be, once I get in.
Kira, aber haben die auch schon gezeigt. Jetzt reden die über die Helden, die sie schon im Video gezeigt haben.
I've loved her box potential. So much fun, and I'm very excited for this. I'm very excited for this rework. It's going to be a fun one. It's going to help a little bit on some of her weaknesses, just a teeny bit.
Yeah, I mean, Kira, obviously our first unique hero that we ever did for Predecessor. Still one of my favorite memories, first hero I've ever designed and popped straight into a game like this, which will always be a big point of memory for me. But generally, yeah, I think she's stood the test of time so far and done pretty well. But there's ways, I think, thematically, which you'll see as I get in.
Van Murdoch E-Spam, what?
Further.
On Overprime?
And also just hone in a little bit more on her identity. It's always a bit trickier with ADCs that a little bit more bursty, a little bit more assassin-y. They can be a bit trickier to tune and find the right levels for, because the whole role of an ADC is sustained damage output. They are a DPS-oriented class. But we do want to make sure that when people are picking characters like Kira...
das fand ich immer kacke, aber ich fand die Raketen geil. Oh.
Oh. No worries. Guys, we will be right. Blood will be right back. Don't worry about it. I know you guys were talking about You know, you want to see more heroes other than the ones we've already seen. Okay. But guys, that's yeah, you are back. But guys, that's the fun part, right? That's the fun part. You guys get to think about it. You have to wait just a teeny bit, less than a week, and then you'll be able to get some of these reworks into your hands. But it looks like we've got a live stream coming in hot. Oh yeah, and it looks like oh yeah, it's beautiful. It's gorgeous. I can't wait to show you guys.
Kommt noch Werbung.
Give me in there. Hold on. I gotta do some of this. I gotta do a little bit of that.
Leute, mein Essen schmeckt giga geil. Ich kann gar nicht beschreiben, wie geil mein Essen schmeckt.
Hold on. We're almost there. Don't you worry about it. Oh, I see it.
Oh. Haben die es nicht vorher mal getestet, was sie da
I
machen?
see it. Okay. Let's do it. Here we are.
Wow, die haben Frames.
Cool, yeah, so we're in here with Kira. The first thing you may notice that I'm already glowing. So if you know current life Kira, essentially she has this Umbra passive that she usually builds up from stacking on targets. We've completely changed all of that pretty much. And she's got a brand new passive. The whole Vengeance mechanic has moved to her Q. Our primary ability, Dusk, as you can see here. So she applies her Vengeance there, dealing generic bonus damage. And this now infinitely stacks, so we still got that persistent DPS theme, but it won't be as prevalent throughout her entire kit, as we'll see with the new passive ability, Nevermore. So this essentially will fire a Raven at the first target you hit with your Mercy or Wrath, so that's your basic attack, and explodes in a small area. So there's some nice applications for this. One, it's helping your burst. You're going to burst an individual target down if you're using the cooldown appropriately and controlling it appropriately. The second, you can also wave clear a little bit with this. So it gives her just a minor amount of buff to her wave clear to just help supplement that a little bit. Her weakness is still meant to be wave clear. It's still exaggerated. She won't be clearing waves anywhere near as fast as TB or Murdoch or all these other ADCs. But it just helps her a little bit so that she's not suffering as much in that area. But primarily, she wants to be using it to burst her target. So when I shoot, I will lose that passive buff effect, and you'll see the bird come out and attack the steel here and do a big chunk of damage. So that's really cool. There is another augment which I don't actually have here, which I should have popped on, but basically every time you use Shadow Glide, you will refresh the cooldown of Nevermore, so you'll be able to fire the Raven, dash, and you'll be able to fire another Raven if you want, which is really cool, and lean a bit more into that, which is really exciting. And the other thing you might see, if you've noticed here, is we actually have a stat counter on the Steel's health bar here. This is one of the QOL changes we're having.
Geil. Da sieht man die Stacks jetzt. Das ist ja geil.
I'm super excited for. It's been much awaited, but now we can finally see our Kira Vengeance stacks on the target. This will go for Sparrow's Relentless passive. This will go for other applications too. There's the per target cooldown death mark from Kalari. That's really hard to track sometimes. That will tick down there on that right-hand side of the health bar. It will start high and tick down low, so you can track that as well. So basically, this is a new way for us to track these sort of effects on enemy targets and just provide a lot more clarity and QOL to the game, so you know when you want to press your primary button.
Oh, I love it. I love it. It feels good. And that quality of life, being able to see your stacks on the enemy health bar, it just makes so much sense. It feels good. It looks good. Oh, yeah. And look at the bird that comes out. Beautiful. I love it. How are we feeling? Oh, God, dude, that quality of life is so nice. 12 stacks, and then it shows when it falls off. Okay, that's nice. That's so good. All right, beautiful. Well, I do think, Blood, I'm going to bring you back to us. What do you think about
Wieso fühlst du es null?
showing one that we haven't shown yet?
Yeah. Yeah, let's have a look here.
Muriel.
Idea.
About, I know
Wir sollen
we were
Muriel
talking
zeigen.
about showing off Aurora.
Oh, nee.
Yeah.
What do we think? What do we think?
I can load in with Aurora, yeah. Yeah, pretty
I
exciting.
actually see people in the chat right now saying, show Aurora, show Aurora. Okay,
Yeah, awesome.
okay.
Yeah, she's got some pretty exciting changes, so have a look.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so, chat, you have been heard. We're going to be showing off Aurora, one of the hero reworks that we have not shown just yet. We're pulling it up. We're still kind of hiding the screen just a little bit because, you know, we don't want don't want too much of a peek behind the hood there. Oh, what is that? Oh, I'm just kidding. That was kind of mean. I'm sorry. I'm sorry,
Los.
chat. I didn't mean to do that to you. Someone said Aurora is ranged now. Imagine.
Lol.
That's
That
not
would be
gonna happen.
quite wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can talk about attack range in a bit. That'd be pretty interesting. I've got a few notes to talk about on that. Did we show Chimera off on socials at all?
We did. We did. The new range mechanic.
Pretty exciting.
Chimera auch krass, ja.
Very exciting. How do you guys feel about the rage mechanic coming to Chimera's kit? Okay. Oh, here we go. While you guys say that, let's do it. I'm gonna bring the screen up and we're gonna watch the new Aurora rework here.
Cool. Yeah, Aurora's had like quite a wide variety of changes. She's actually had some big augment changes. So one of them I'm using here, which I'll show off in a second. The first thing I actually want to mention is her secondary ability, Hoarfrost, that creates the ring around her. We've quite significantly increased the height of this so that you can catch targets that are trying to spacebar jump over. Quite a while ago, we increased jump height. We've got a lot of characters interacting with jump height. We don't want it to be that reliable to just get out of Aurora's Hoarfrost. You should be stuck in here with her. So we're making it a little bit taller, a bit more spiky, look a little bit more threatening, and need to be a bit more careful when navigating around it. With that said, Aurora's new augment here with her primary ability Glacial Charge will now have an additional effect where it spawns these Hoarfrost crystals along the side of it
geil.
For the duration, essentially.
Das ist ja geil.
So you have a new way to initiate or engage with the character. Spawns them at the current level. So the more you level up your Hoarfrost, the stronger they will become. And essentially gives you a practical way to use the wall.
Chimera ist nicht der einzige Held, der Rage hat.
Engagements and ganks and support or whatever you will. So that's quite a fun, exciting augment coming.
Das ist ja cool mit dem Augment.
That we've cooked up a little bit. Choices and more.
Yeah, that's really sick. I have not seen that, so that's very cool.
Yeah, they'll always spawn at the base. So you can still do your super tool walls next to people, and you'll spawn them all along the edge, and yeah, make that wall a little bit more of a threat. So
it does look like it's a little bit longer. Is that bridge a little bit longer?
Yeah, the wall by default's a bit longer. We basically put the default augment into the kit. We've done that in a lot of areas where characters had some commonly picked augments that felt really good, but they're more like quality of life and things like this, like Rampage, Jump Rock and stuff. We've integrated those into their base kits, essentially.
Good.
I think Discord just attacked me. But yeah, we integrate those into the base kits, which should be really nice.
That's okay. That's rad.
The other thing with Aurora's her alternate ability here, we've actually changed the shape up a little bit, so we've got a bit more of a longer forward cone now rather than a wider cone and squished cone. This gives her just a little bit more reach during the laning phase to poke, but mainly it just changes the way in which you actually want to be targeting this thing and hitting people in the center a little bit more. It gives them a bit more opportunity to outplay it at closer ranges where they'll be able to walk out to the sides and stuff. So Aurora will have to think a little bit more about her positioning when she's using this ability, making it a little bit more higher skill and a little bit more counterplay to it. Still allowing her to get a pretty big payoff if she's able to get both parts of it off. So just a minor change there to just increase the sort of like skill floor of Aurora.
Beautiful. I love it. I'm excited.
Stop. Aufgegessen.
I'm stoked. I know chat is excited as well. I do see some people saying this is so cool, and then I see other people saying she's gonna kick my butt in lane now. I see some W's in chat. Okay, I see you, Debu. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we're done with Aurora here, but I think all heroes, I'm hoping people can basically say that too, right? There's going to be the people that don't play the character and they're like, that looks really broken, I don't want to play against that. Then they'll see their hero and they're like, oh, I really want to play that. That's really cool. My hero looks really broken. And hopefully that's the sort of vibe we start to get off with the characters, mainly just because in context of the game, they shouldn't be so overwhelmingly strong. But the things that they do well, they should do really, really well. And that's the fun part about picking those characters and making them really...
Oh yeah, I'm very excited. It's going to be really cool. Well, I think that's pretty solid for that. I think it's time to kind of move on just a little bit. I know we had some other heroes that we wanted to show off, but
geile Effekte bei Severok wie in OG.
I think we should continue because we got some more exciting changes to talk about.
Welche Effekte meinst du?
Including everyone's favorite topic, ranked.
Ranked.
Let's talk a little bit about ranked, shall we?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, so,
excited.
Those that might have seen, we had the competitive blog come out recently. Some of you might have read it, some of you might have not. I'm basically going to reiterate quite a bit that was written on there. Essentially, with ranked, we've been listening to a ton of community feedback on the experience of ranked. We've been talking about a lot of high-level players, as well as low-level players and stuff, and low-ranking players, and just trying to figure out what are the major issues, what can we implement to try and fix these. So basically, the first thing, we are doing an extra split. We're not closing out the season. We want players to basically have more time to adjust to this stuff and these changes, and make sure we get it right for the next season, make sure that everything flows properly, and make sure the game's had a big enough of a mix-up by that point as well to really define Season 2 as an exciting and new stage for Predecessor. So that's why I've got this extra split. With that comes new placement system, essentially. So basically, placement games, you will have 10 that you need to do in order to get
Same
placed for the
placement
first time
matches,
you
okay.
play ranked, or for if you
Der Reset
haven't
ist
played
nächste
ranked
Woche,
in a
ja,
while,
Split.
like you missed a split or something when you're returning.
Also Split, kein
this
Reset.
increased amount of games was a big point of community feedback, where basically allows players to be more accurately
Wie letztes Mal
placed in
quasi.
their correct rank before they carry on with their grind. So this is pretty important for those. When you have already played the previous split and been placed, you would only have to do 5 games, so you'd be a little bit quicker. But we already kindly know your rank by that point, and you've played for the previous split. We kind of know where you should be at, so we can use.
Okay, man muss 5 Placements machen, wenn man schon Rank gespielt hat.
Adjustment to the way we actually match the players together now, so it'll be a little bit closer to what VP is rather than MMR. So basically that front-end experience you guys are feeling, and when you end up with these diamonds and bronzes in the same lobbies and stuff, that should happen significantly less or not at all in the extreme cases. And we should be looking at basically more accurate front-end style matchmaking. We'll still be updating your MMR, we'll still be using that to track where you should be heading, but the ranked experience should be a bit more of a ladder now, a bit more of a climb, where you're working your way through each rung, each rank, and you're feeling like you're playing against players of that caliber,
Okay.
and that actual front-end rank as you work your way up to higher ranks.
Ooh, okay. So I'm hearing some really good stuff. I'm hearing we're getting an extra split so that we can kind of get used to the new changes of how like the ladder works, etc. We're getting a better placement phase, okay, and we're matching kind of the front end, so the VP and the MMR, kind of matching it for the most part when we're queuing up.
Okay,
Oh,
finde ich gut.
Okay. How are we feeling?
Ich sehe mich wieder mit
Jack?
10 Loses an den
'Cause I'm
Placements.
seeing a lot of W's already in here.
Das liegt ja an dir,
huge
Gali.
ranked W. I see that. Okay. Yes. I love it. Okay. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Lots
Schreibt
of
einer
W's,
hire a better
W
character
rank
artist.
changes. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. But you're the best. You're the best.
Wow.
You and the team are the best.
The rank stuff doesn't come from me. I'm simply passing on messages here. Yeah, wonderful team that's worked on it and be listening, gathering all the feedback and putting into place these plans. So yeah, big thanks to them. And just the competitive stuff in general that I'm super excited for, aside from ranked. The Monday, Derek has done a great job with that work, and I'm super excited to see how competitive kicks off as well this year.
Absolutely. Well, I know we've been yapping for a while. We've got more stuff to yap about, and we've got another yapper coming onto the screen here in just a moment. But before we go, we're going to show off the brand new Neon Renegade skin line.
Oh,
If you haven't seen
geil.
it already, you're about to see it now.
Kennen wir schon, aber ist geil. Die haben auch ein paar geile Farben. Also kann ich euch versichern, die haben ein paar geile Farben, die Skins.
You were wise to call upon me.
Fear the man who has nothing left to lose.
The hunt is on.
Ja, sehen schon cool aus.
And welcome back. We are now
Cynic.
joined by Cynic, junior level designer of Omeda Studios, who has been working on a very highly requested feature that everyone is very excited about. Dude, I say excited too much. I need to stop doing it, but you know what? It's so true. We've got map updates coming.
Blutrot,
Cynic,
ja.
tell us about you. How are you feeling?
Würde ich jetzt nicht sagen.
I'm feeling pretty good.
Aber es gibt einen
It's been
geilen roten
fun,
Skin da.
And as I said to many of the Omega staff, I appreciate the opportunity to actually work with the community to build a very good map for Predecessor and make the best map we can possibly make together. Obviously, I have a good baseline. I just need more games, more feedback, just so I can keep iterating and give us the best version of Pred that I can give.
Oh yeah. Now Declan, Blood Mordians, take us through. I pulled a Stegs. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
It's Steg's fault. You know, he's in my ear right now. I'm just kidding. Anyways, Blood Mordians, take us through a little bit about, you know, what we're introducing here.
Yeah, so new map obviously been a hot topic for a very long period of time, something we've really been wanting to work on. It's very resource intensive. Luckily, we've had Reese step up here, be able to take on a big role in it and creating the actual map, which is really exciting for us, pushing it forward. Generally, making this map, we want to do it with the community. That's what a big part of this is all about. And this goes all the way back to Omeda's beginnings, when you guys first might have seen us popping up. Sergeant Smokey doing those community streams, building up the game from scratch and everything, working with the community to figure out what is Predecessor from Paragon's ashes, essentially. A lot of us in the company even are from the community ourselves, right? Myself included, coming up through Paragon and other Paragon remakes and such. Has been like an exciting journey for a lot of us. Even Reese is also from that area as well, coming up through the community and working on this game. And likewise, want to bring that back to all of you guys as we continue on this journey to make this map. We want to bring a bit more of that sort of grassroots back to what the studio is and what the game is, and have you help us make this map with your feedback, shape it with your feedback. So we'll be going over multiple cycles where Reese here will be iterating on the map, taking in all your feedback and trying to make the best experience for Predecessor that we can, as this will be the main mode eventually. This will be what we play ranked on. This will be what competitive's on. Our old map is very dated and we need to figure out, what does Predecessor look like? What does the verticality look like? What does the size look like? And we're going to be doing that all the journey, all along the way with you.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Now, Cynic, how many, as we're like talking about, you know, this new map, about how many iterations have you gone through so far?
So I have gone through, I would say, like as a full map rework, I have gone over 4 variations of the map, each targeting different sections of how I feel like the map could be played, and trying to get as much feedback just from my own personal learnings to try and make the map work well within a MOBA space, but also still attract like even more players from different genres, like for example, hero shooters, FPSs, all those sort of gamers. But obviously there are things that work and some things that don't work, which is something that I've learned along the way. Like for example, V1, I would attribute that to be something that would be very good in like a brawl or an ARAM setting, but in a MOBA setting, it wasn't very good because it was just too messy. It was just death brawling everywhere. It was fun and chaotic, but it wasn't a MOBA. So I put that one in the back burner, and obviously throughout the iterations, I've learned a lot. Throughout playtesting, I've learned a lot, and I feel like the version that we have now, as far as it is from perfect, it is still very good and a step up from what Twilight.
Bisschen Angst vor der neuen Map. Ich habe heute mit ihm viel gesprochen mit Cynic und ich glaube, der macht das schon gut.
Iterations of the map where you were kind of targeting different spots. What are the overall goals of the new map?
Well, obviously the big issue was attacking the feedback that I already had from my own personal experience and also from the community as a whole, in terms of like whenever we talk about the map, hey, we want a new map. Well, the reason why we want a new map is because Twilight is obviously dated. The game has come a long way.
Sagt immer Twilight Sanctuary, meint
And also, I feel like Twilight has a lot of problems. Like, for example, fog walls are very unreadable to players, especially new players. And I also feel like they have a lot of disadvantages to being used, as well. Like, they are used for line of sight breakers, but I just feel like it's kind of like a quote unquote lazy way of doing line of sight breakers. And I just feel like it doesn't really help gameplay too well. So, yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I think there's a lot we can obviously improve on Twilight, and I think obviously the community agrees with that. I think there's many aspects to it. There's obviously the gameplay side, but funny enough, even in the level design side, I think no matter how we dress up Twilight, no matter how much better we make that look and how many assets we add or change, the shape of it just isn't that. exciting or appealing or immersive to be within. So the big changes that Reese has been doing and stuff helps to push the potential of the visuals further as well as the gameplay. We've got more areas where you can see more, see out into the world, see the epicness of the map essentially.
Well,
Yep.
I'm
Macht die alle
looking on
Purple
our
Swan in den
side
Chat?
screen here, and I'm seeing an actual version, working version of the map right now that you two are in. What do we think, chat? Should I show? Should I show what they're showing us right now?
Should we?
I see. Please show it to
I
us.
just want to start off before we show that everything that you see is up for interpretation, and obviously the visuals are nowhere near where we want it to be. It's all prototype. This is all for the sake of me being able to iterate quickly.
Ja, das muss ich zu euch auch nochmal sagen. Das, was ihr sehen werdet von der Map und auch die Map, die ihr spielen werdet am Dienstag, das sind nur Platzhalter und das hat nichts mit dem zu tun, wie die Map aussehen soll später. Das sind nur Platzhalter. Also alles, was ihr seht, wird nicht mehr so sein, wenn da actually Grafik drauf ist. Es ist nur Baukasten. Ja. Das ist nur Baukasten, was er benutzt hat. Und es hat, also wenn ihr jetzt sagt, oh, ich mag das Design nicht, ich mag den Himmel nicht, ich mag die Farben nicht, ich mag die Texturen nicht, whatever. Das sind wirklich nur Baukästen und hat nichts mit der Grafik zu tun, die dann später da drauf gemacht wird. Wollte ich nur sagen, weil ich war am Anfang, ich habe es in meinem Video auch gesagt, es hat mich am Anfang auch ein bisschen abgefuckt, weil ich dachte, boah, schon wieder dieselben Scheißtexturen. Aber die machen eigene neue Texturen und nicht mehr die Paragon-Texturen, die er jetzt halt verwendet hat, um die Map, das Layout zu bauen. Ja, wollte ich nur noch mal vorher sagen.
Here and there that we have to fix, and assets obviously used, and the art dress up of it, all very prototype, all very stage one. You guys are going on that full length journey with us as we adjust things. As Reese said, when we polish up the map to optimize it, we got to bash things together. We got to do lots of little hacky stuff that makes it work. But that means it makes it really hard to edit, which is why Twilight is such a sticky thing and why people give a lot of feedback that we can't action. So this is a big step towards, like, yeah, we can change things with you.
Well, I think we've made the chat wait long enough. Let's show off this beautiful map. Once again, it's a work in progress, so here it is. A brand new map. Let's do a little bit of a walk around.
Schön, wie der die Grafik aber runtergestellt. Holy shit.
Walking around is I'll talk about what the next steps are, because obviously a lot of this prototype, as you can see, is still using a lot of placeholder assets, still using a lot of blocks. So obviously jump pads, and here we have a proximity goal. This will be for V1 in both pit locations and around the inhibs.
Einfach eine fucking Tür, Junge.
Shadow pads are making a comeback. As I've said, this is still prototype. These will not be in the final version. These will be replaced with bushes.
Genau, anstatt Pools werden wir Busche bekommen. Was ist hier für eine dreckige Werbung, Alter? Wie geht die weg? Holy shit.
It's a little bit too big right now. I'm trying to make it around 8 to 10% smaller.
So noch kleiner. Ich mach's groß für euch. Warte.
So for now, the idea is that we will have seedlings spawn in an undisclosed location, and they will roam around a set location. The idea is to get them to roam around the pits, so that you can contest them at any time. Obviously, we have red buff. We have a little trampoline to go up here, little bridge, rotation, under bridge part. Obviously, the things that we discussed with World Shift Frost was that ground targeting was affected by these high bridges. This one, I've tried to create it so it doesn't have as much issues. Obviously, it doesn't have the curving over in the play space, so this height shouldn't affect any ground targeting, so you don't have to worry about that. We have our camps here, little third layer. So basically, we have one. This is layer 1, this is layer 2, and then this is layer 3. This is off lane, and as we navigate towards off lane, I will show you that this is something that Declan was talking about in terms of like the immersion, like verticality and stuff like that. It's the fact that I can stand up here.
Guck mal, wie weit man runtergucken kann. Das ist der Prime Pit.
There are line of sight issues
here. Das hier ist der Prime Pit.
But foliage isn't added, so obviously we don't want to be like.
Hier in diese Säulen sind die Midlane. Das ist die Midlane hier.
So we're obviously working on that, but yeah, still in process of that. Obviously, we still have the off-lane alcove area, teleporter, sound buff, blast plants, and then we'll go towards the ore prime pit.
Also ist doch relativ groß.
For V1, I understand personally that the jungle and the pits are very, very weak to where I want them to be. So obviously that is something.
Das finde ich zum Beispiel auch zu groß, die Fläche dort. Zu weit offen. Das ist der River Buff.
Obviously you guys are hearing me say V2. The plan is to give you guys V1 and you help me dictate the direction for the game and for the map.
Das ist Midlane jetzt hier.
And then when V2 comes around, which will be a few weeks after V1 drops, which just gives me allows me a little bit of time to address the issues, address the feedback. So I'll be constantly keeping an eye on forum lists and all the stuff that we give you guys to write down on. But
Yeah.
Ja.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in here. As you've covered, the game design team, myself included, obviously helped grease a lot of different elements of the.
Also es gibt keine Shadow Walls mehr, Leute. Es gibt keine Shadow Walls
A lot
mehr.
of things of note in here. The fog walls disappearing, I think, is a really big win from my side personally. Never really enjoyed the concept of fog walls and the way they interact with vision. I think there's much clearer ways we can do so. I think the bush idea is a good one. I think there's lots of things we can do to create tension with them and level up the vision game basically of our game.
Ja, man verläuft sich, ja. Am Anfang auf jeden Fall.
Agree with that. And bushes are a way for us to basically artificially create this is a good warding zone and areas where you can sneak up on people more reliably rather
Soll das mal ranken mal? Ja, das wird ranked, das wird ranked.
I think the doors, those were proposed for different reasons.
Das wird die aktuelle Map ersetzen.
They work really, really well with the proximity. They basically allow us to solve certain LOS issues at really long distances, but then don't interfere with gameplay as much. And when you're fighting close to them, like a fog wall, you're not going to have the issue of, oh, I keep not losing track of the target as they keep hobbling it out the fog wall. The door remains open as long as you're close to it. So it's really, really cool. And in general, adds a lot to the map. So I'm excited to see where this pushes forward.
Yeah, we're definitely pushing forward what we're doing, going from 112 and onward. Very, very exciting stuff. Just a reminder, this is going to be in labs. So this won't be replacing the entire map. It won't be replacing Sanctuary right away. This is going to go into labs first. So we want you to be playing this map and giving feedback. That's kind of the point here. We want you to give a bunch of feedback. Cynic is already working on V.
Also, wie gesagt, ich habe heute mit Cynic ein bisschen geschrieben und mich unterhalten und der hat mir sehr viele Sachen gesagt, die er macht, die ich natürlich nicht hier sagen werde. Ich habe ihm aber mein Feedback gegeben, weil er darum gebeten hat. Und mein Feedback war, ich habe die Map ja schon gespielt, dass ich finde, der Jungle ist ein bisschen unübersichtlich und diese vielen kleinen Mäuerchen da sind teilweise auch nervig, weil man kann da so halt drauf rumbalancieren oder so. Das finde ich ein bisschen weird, weil was er da jetzt zum Beispiel macht, finde ich ein bisschen weird. Die Shadow Pools finde ich, ist cool, dass es die gibt, aber die stehen so an so random Orten irgendwie und das sollen halt später auch Bushes werden, hat er eben gesagt. Das Ding ist, ich finde die Vertikalität, die es gibt, an sich gut. Und ich mag das auch, dass es weite Spaces gibt, aber overall finde ich die Map einen Ticken zu groß und manche Spaces sind zu weit. Zum Beispiel Prime Pit und Fangtooth Pit, die sind langweilig. Das ist einfach nur eine große, runde Fläche, wo nichts ist. Das ist halt ein bisschen lame. Das müsste eher so sein von der Größe wie bei Overprime, dass da so eine Schüssel ist. Die Midlane finde ich gut, die ist aber auch sehr, sehr offen dort auf der Midlane. Aber ich finde das cool mit diesen Säulen, dass man so um diese Säulen spielen kann. An sich ist das auch ganz geil. Ich vermisse halt ein bisschen einen River. Was mir an der Midlane nicht gefällt, ist, dass du um diese Wand laufen musst, um zum River-Buff zu kommen. Das heißt, du gehst links von der Lane runter, musst dann um die Wand laufen. Dahinter ist dann der River-Buff. Hier der pinke hier oben. Und ja, dementsprechend musst du da so einmal rumlaufen. Das finde ich irgendwie blöd. Aber auch hier der Platz, guck mal, was das so ein riesen Platz hier ist. Ich würde mir wünschen, die Map kann ja so weit bleiben, wie sie ist, aber dann würde ich die Wände und die Felsen dicker machen und mehr Sachen dort reinmachen, dass man ein bisschen mehr um die Dinge spielen muss. Weil, guck mal, da ist irgendwie fast nichts. Es sieht sehr langweilig aus. Und ist halt auch der Grafik geschuldet. Man findet sich nicht so gut zurecht. Und bei der Offlane finde ich blöd, ich habe auch schon Offlane gespielt. Erstens finde ich das hier ein bisschen krass, wie steil es hier hochgeht. Ja, also dieses zwischen der Ebene ist irgendwie unnötig. Wofür ist die? Und zweitens, hier finde ich doof, ja, okay, man sieht es jetzt nicht. Finde ich doof, dass da hinten quasi so diese Shadowpools auf einer Stufe sind. Das heißt, du musst erst diese Treppe hochkommen, um dich in den Shadowpool zu stellen. Ich fände es viel cooler, wenn einfach in der Mitte an der Seite, also quasi symmetrisch an der Seite, ein Shadowpool in der Mitte ist. Und der halt weiter vorne gepusht hat, der kann sich vielleicht in den Shadowpool reinstellen und den eben als Schutz nutzen, dafür, dass er eben weiter nach vorne gepusht hat und nicht, dass auf jeder Seite halt einer ist, sondern halt einer in der Mitte. Vielleicht auch ein länglicher in der Mitte oder sowas, wisst ihr? Wie es ähnlich auch bei League oder so ist. Ja. Und die Jungle Minions sind irgendwie alle ziemlich wild verteilt. Also wenn ihr euch das mal hier auf der Map anguckt, dann seht ihr, die sind alle so, ja, hier haben wir wie so einen runden Bogen und hier hinten ist fast gar nichts, außer diese Seedlinge. Das sind hier so 4 Seedlinge und die sind irgendwie ganz weit hinten, aber alle Camps sind irgendwie sehr weit auf Höhe zwischen den T1-Towern. Das finde ich irgendwie auch nicht so cool. Ich finde, es müsste trotzdem Camps geben, die man auch holen kann, wenn man weiter zurück ist. Ja, also wenn der Mid-Tower zum Beispiel weg ist, dass sich der ganze Jungle right away geklaut wird. Wirkt alles sehr leer. Ja, es wirkt sehr leer und es ist doch zu groß. Aber das ist ja, wie gesagt, nur die erste Version und es gibt schon weitere Versionen von dieser Map, die wir auch testen werden. Ja. Und der Shaper spawnt dann basically im Spawn eines der Teams, oder wie funktioniert das? Es gibt keinen Shaper mehr. Shaper ist raus. Es gibt nur Fangtooth und Orb Prime.
I think that's good. I think that's.
Und es gibt auch kein World Shift mehr.
Next week. And let you guys figure everything out. Kind of start to really explore and get a feel for it yourselves. And it's going to be so absolutely incredible. I can't wait. Thank you, Cynic and Blood Mortius, for showing off such incredible stuff coming into version 1.12 Neon Renegades. It's going to be so cool. Thank you guys again. I think that's a fantastic place to stop at. What do you guys think?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Let me see. What else is there? Oh yeah, we hit Neon. We hit some hero kits. We hit ranked, and we hit the new map coming soon next week. Cynic, once again, amazing work. Any words about the map from you?
Just as I said at the start, I'm just appreciative of the meta giving me the opportunity to create this map alongside.
Die aktuelle Map wird dann komplett futsch sein. Ja, genau, die aktuelle Map wird dann ersetzt durch diese Map. Finde, sieht irgendwie aus, als wäre sie noch nicht fertig, halt so leer und trocken. Aber du bist wohl gerade erst reingejoint, Lukas. Herzlich willkommen. Das ist nur Platzhalter. Das ist nicht die Grafik, die die Map hat. Das sind nur Platzhalter. Gibt's Portale? Jo, Portale gibt's.
Good question. World shifts, will they be
geht einfach wieder
coming
an.
to this map?
No, they won't be coming. I think in a long term, maybe. I think the idea of game-to-game variation through the map is good and positive. I think we went quite extreme on the current map, and I think with the baseline of what we were working with is a little bit tough. Throughout this process of this new map, it will be considered in terms of the things we can do, but just in terms of all the new mechanics that we set into the map, such as the roaming camps and the ward spots and stuff, it only gives us more room to do more with map variation if we need to. But we definitely don't want it to be as intrusive as it was before, because we've seen the feedback and we know some people are not big fans.
Yeah, that's another plus. That's another plus from us doing the map from scratch, is that when we do want to do these, let's say for example we release this map in its final state in V4 or whatever it is.
Finde diese Stellen, die einen vorschlagen, wo man Wards effektiv platziert, sehr nice. Ja, das ist eine gute Idee, auch für neue Spieler sehr gut. Finde wenigstens River müsste es geben, ja. Ist halt die Frage, willst du, wenn du einen River hast, bist du halt wieder so ein bisschen vergleichbar mit League of Legends und so, und nur weil League oder Dota einen River hat, muss Pred auch einen River haben. Nasenschnauz, vielen Dank für deinen Raid. Das ist halt so die Frage, muss in jedem MOBA immer ein River drin sein? Weil das würde ja bedeuten, dass die Midlane auf einer Ebene sein muss mit dem River. Und der kann ja nicht runterfließen, dann wieder hochfließen, dann wieder runterfließen. I don't know. Oder es müsste 2 Wasserfälle geben. Ist halt schwer zu machen. Die ist ja auch noch nicht fertig. Das ist erstmal nur ein Test. Dauert noch lange, bis die aktuelle Map ersetzt wird. Genau. Das heißt, wir müssen diese Map spielen. Nein, diese Map ist im Labs-Modus spielbar und du musst gar nichts. Du kannst auch erstmal die normale Map weiterspielen, in Ranked und so. Diese Map kommt in Labs, Predecessor Labs, da wo jetzt auch Aram drin ist oder wo Brawl drin war oder wo Legacy drin war, da gibt es diese Map zum Testen und ihr gebt dann euer Feedback in-game direkt in Umfragen an die Entwickler weiter oder in Discord Umfragen und so weiter und so fort.
Or cynic.
Love you all. Appreciate you.
Beautiful. Thank you guys so much again for hanging out with us. And we will see you next week for Neon Renegades in Predecessor. Peace.
Peace. Thanks for watching. Jo, also, zusammengefasst, ich hau noch mal meine Meinung raus. Also erstens, am Freitagabend dürfen wir das neue Update schon streamen, die Content Creator, also die Creator Guild. Das bedeutet, auch ich werde am Freitagabend mit euch das Game, also nicht mit euch, aber mit den anderen Content Creatern und Testern das Spiel spielen und auch dann Livestream und dann wird auch ein bisschen Content rauskommen. Der Patch besteht aus 3 Dingen. Erstens der neue Held, N3on. Ich finde den neuen Held cool, ich habe schon gespielt. Sieht in-game auf jeden Fall 1000-mal besser aus als in dem Trailer. Der Trailer war geil, aber das Character-Model, was sie da hatten, mit den Fadengesicht und so, hat nicht rübergebracht, wie der Charakter wirklich ist. Der Charakter ist cool zu spielen, wird nicht mein Main. Ich fand Mako oder so viel, viel geiler. Aber ja, viel, viel coolere Helden gibt es meiner Meinung nach, auch für die Midlane. Und ich bin eigentlich nicht so der Midlane-Main. Aber ja, der Held ist schon ganz cool. Also, manche Leute werden ihn feiern. Jetzt sind wir hier Baerbock am Zocken. Dann, was wollte ich sagen? Ja, der zweite Part ist, dass wir. Ich mach mal die Kamera. Stell mal die Kamera um. Der zweite Part ist, dass wir Hero Reworks bekommen und damit nicht Chimera, Kira, Shrimbi und was haben sie noch gezeigt? Und Drugs, das sind 4. Und ich weiß nicht, wie viele Helden es sind, aber es sind bestimmt 20 oder sowas, die gereworkt wurden. Also ganz, ganz viele. Und nicht nur ein bisschen gereworkt, sondern manche sind auch einfach komplett anders. Ja, da kommen sehr, 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 sehr viele Sachen auf euch zu. Und auch ich mache ja immer diese 5-Minuten-Guides, diese Quick-Guides. Und ich werde, glaube ich, die Hälfte der Quick-Guides, die ich gemacht habe, werde ich neu machen müssen. Das werde ich natürlich jetzt nicht übers Wochenende machen und dann alles raushauen, sondern ich werde versuchen, vielleicht jede Woche einen neuen Quick-Guide zu releasen. Und eben einen Helden, ja, neu machen, den es da gibt. Ich werde vielleicht so 3, 4, 5 Stück übers Wochenende machen und dann da zeigen, was sich an manchen Helden geändert hat. Weil manche sind halt sehr signifikant anders. Ja. Und das dritte ist halt, wie gesagt, die neue Map. Die neue Map finde ich cool. Die macht schon Spaß. Macht sie mir jetzt mehr Spaß als Sanctuary? Nö, keine Ahnung. Also für mich, ich muss halt sagen, ich kann das nicht so trennen, die Grafik und das Gameplay. Wenn ich da halt hingucke und mir gefällt nicht das, was ich mit dem Auge sehe, dann beeinflusst das einfach den Spaß, den ich beim Spielen habe, weil ich spiele Predecessor, unter anderem auch Paragon damals, weil es halt eine geile Grafik hat und eben nicht aussieht wie Smite oder Deadlock. Ja. Eine Runde auf der neuen Map ist relativ kurz. Ich muss halt auch sagen, wir haben mit sehr starken Spielern gespielt im Testing. Also da waren halt richtig krasse Pro-Spieler dabei und auch nicht nur 2 oder so, sondern 8. Und da waren die Matches relativ schnell vorbei. Nicht nitro-schnell, aber ich würde doch schon fast sagen, ein bisschen schneller sogar, als es bei Sanctuary der Fall ist. Einfach so vom Feeling her. Ein bisschen schneller, vielleicht 2 bis 5 Minuten schneller, dass die Matches sind. Kann aber auch einfach am Testing gelegen haben. Und ja, also ich finde die Map, er hat es ja eben gezeigt und ich habe es ja eben schon gesagt, ich finde es an manchen Stellen zu weitläufig und es sind zu viele Dinge, die einfach manchmal im Weg stehen und an manchen Stellen ist einfach zu wenig. Also es müsste noch ein bisschen besser gekocht werden, so. Dass man an jeder Stelle irgendwas Interessantes hat. Und ja, ich kann halt nicht das so trennen, dass die Map halt jetzt einfach nur aus Platzhaltern besteht. Ja, ich glaube, cooler wäre es so vielleicht sogar, wenn sie einfach weiße oder schwarze Blöcke genommen hätten. Und man würde in so einer Testbox einfach spielen, weißt du, so ein weißer Himmel und einfach schwarze Blöcke, auf denen man läuft oder so. Das halt wirklich aussieht wie ein Test. Ja. Deswegen, ich mag halt auch das freundliche, schöne Design von Sanctuary, was wir kennen. Es hat einen schönen blauen Himmel, es hat Sonnenschein, es hat Schatten. Das finde ich halt auch schön. Ich weiß auch schon, wie die Map aussehen soll, wenn sie dann mal released wird. Mit richtiger Grafik, also welchen Grafikstil sie machen. Allerdings darf ich da wahrscheinlich nicht, also wenn sie es nicht gesagt haben, dann werde ich da auch nicht drüber reden. Und ja, da bin ich auf jeden Fall excited drauf. Das wird eine richtig geile Grafik, glaube ich. Und ja, das war's. Das war alles zu wie heißt es? Zum 1.12 Update. Gibt natürlich, glaube ich, auch Item Balances und sowas, also normale Balancing-Sachen kommen natürlich auch. Vielen Dank fürs Abo, Adrian. Ja. Habt ihr noch Fragen, Wünsche, Anregungen? Wollt ihr noch über irgendwas reden? Ansonsten, wie gesagt, werde ich ab Freitag den neuen Patch streamen. Ich werde das Game ansonsten nicht mehr weiterspielen bis Dienstag, bis der Patch kommt, weil am Wochenende kommt die Acheron Beta oder Archeron, wie man es auch immer ausspricht. Und das ist ein richtig geiles Game, wo ich schon mal eine Beta dabei war. Und die haben mich auch angeschrieben und wollten mir das Game zur Verfügung stellen, dass ich da auch Content zu machen kann. Und das werde ich auch tun, weil das Game ist richtig geil. Und natürlich werde ich noch ein bisschen Monster Hunter weiterspielen. So viel dazu. Und ab Freitag, wie gesagt, Livestream mit dem neuen Patch in der Testversion. Welcher Champ wurde am meisten verändert? Kann ich nicht sagen. Also es sind einige Champs, die wirklich stark verändert wurden, wie zum Beispiel Muriel, meiner Meinung nach. Auch Acheron. Wann streame ich Freitag? Ich muss nachgucken, wann wir dürfen. Wir dürfen am Freitag um 18 Uhr dürfen wir Content releasen und ab 19 Uhr kann ich streamen. Also 19 Uhr ist dann der Stream. Ab wann kann man es nachschauen? Die Veränderung an den Helden? Am Freitag. Am Freitag kommen die Patch Notes raus. Und ich warne dich vor, die sind, also nimm dir einen Tag frei, weil die sind lang. Die sind sehr lang. Das ist nicht eine Seite, es sind irgendwie 70 Seiten oder sowas. I don't know. Wahrscheinlich, wenn die das noch fertig ausschreiben, dann sind es noch mehr Seiten. Also es ist lang. Nicht 20 Seiten, sondern sehr lang. Sehr, sehr lang. Gut. Das war's. GG, sage ich.